I'm Kelly Perry with Team Flower, and today we're going to make a centerpiece using Amaryllis. This can be a tough one to use in arrangements sometimes because the stems are so long and they can be very fragile, but I wanted to take some time to show you a few tips that you can use to do some great arrangements with Amaryllis. With the holidays coming up, they're a beautiful flower to use in holiday arrangements, so I thought it would be fun to show you. So we're going to get started. The container that I'm using today has a few little brass screws, so I've sealed those off with silicone. And then I have a block of soaked oasis in here, and the oasis is important for the Amaryllis and the technique that I'm going to show you for that. So I really prefer to use that as opposed to wire or flower frogs, just specifically for this, and I'll explain a little bit later. But so I have the oasis in here, and then I have it taped in, and I also have the container filled with water. And that I have found really helps keep the flowers fresher longer, because whenever you're using a flower frog, they get the maximum water absorption. I just have found that sometimes with oasis, the flowers don't last quite as long as they do in clean, fresh water. So I like to fill the container still even so with water, just to make sure that that is completely soaked all of the time. And that helps with longevity a little bit. So we're going to get started with, this is called rose sumac. And this is what I'm going to use to establish the general shape of the arrangement, kind of where I'm headed with things. And then we are going to, after we add some of this, then we're going to add some Pittosporum. And I love what you'll see here, the importance of having these specific ingredients. It's not important that you have them. You just need things that have a similar quality about them. So the rose sumac is branchy and has a nice shape to it, and the Pittosporum has some branchier, or not branchy, just full flowers. So that helps with coverage quite a lot. So that's why I've chosen those two things. You're just looking for similar shapes. I'm going to use about 5 pieces of this. And these 3 you can see are kind of out further, and then I want to move these ones in. Well, I want to round out the back first, but use these kind of in a little bit more as opposed to very outside of the container. So you can see how we have a nice dimension going there on the front and the back. And this piece is just a little bit too much for where I'd like to put it, so I'm just going to do a little trimming. Okay. Now, as always, like to save a little piece just in case if I see later that there's a place where I'd like to use that. So now with the Pittosporum, I'm going to just add some more fullness into these areas. So I'm just kind of following the sumac. And then what I like about Pittosporum is that it has several opportunities here to use, the same stem multiple times. So I'm just clipping right above each of these groups of leaves. And then these are so great to go nice and low in the arrangement. And you cover up that, exposed cut that you made since it's nice and low. Whoops. That one clipped itself for me. Okay, we'll leave a few of those. And next I'm going to add some pepperberry. You can see some of it that came in the bundle is bright red and some is just a green. So if it's important to you to have one or the other, you might want to just check with your wholesaler and see what stage it's in, or if it's in the stage where you could get either one. Actually, I think I'm going to wait to add this until I get a few more things in here. Same thing with this Willow Eucalyptus. Next, I have some Carnations. I think these are great to use low in the arrangement. And a dark color, it draws your eye in and gives the arrangement some depth. And if your carnation comes and it's all, you know, tight and wound up like this, you can just kind of massage this section of it and fluff out the flower. As I put these in here, I'm just kind of thinking about putting them in at different heights. I want everything to be pretty low, but I don't want it to be one-dimensional. I don't want it to be so tight in there either that I can't get my other stems into the arrangement. Next, I'm going to follow that with some roses. And these are also going to go nice and low in the arrangement. This just adds another shape and another size to this layer. And I'm going to start working these roses up out of this baseline just a little bit, just one step up. And I'm going to check in here on the side of my arrangement as well because I want there to be a little bit of that color popping through over there. And this Lazy Susan is so helpful to keep you working around the arrangement rather than, you know, really focusing in on one side and then it becoming unbalanced, which is something that you want to avoid. Just clipped out a little piece of that rose sumac that I felt like was in my way and sort of obstructing the line a little bit. So feel free as you go along just to clip things out that you feel like aren't working for you. Next, I have some of this beautiful striped foliage. Gosh, this is my new favorite thing, and I wish I knew what it was called. I'll have to look that up and put it in the email for you. But I went to go look for the little tag, and it seems that I tossed it out. This is a house plant from just Lowe's hardware. Sometimes I like to pop in there and see what kind of interesting house plants they have, just so I have some kind of interesting foliage on hand. If I'm in a pinch or on the fly or just putting something together, it's a way that you can really take things from, you know, ordinary to extraordinary by just having one of those, you know, really special ingredients. So what do we have in here? We have 3 wholesale ingredients that most people kind of frown upon. We have, you know, roses, carnations, this Pittosporum, but with the addition of the rose sumac, which is, you know, interesting and textural, and then this leaf, it really elevates it to another place. And I think that you don't need to get too hung up on, you know, my wholesaler doesn't have all that, you know, all that much to choose from or that's interesting, but really all you need is that one thing, and you can find one thing. You never get real far when you're always wishing that you were somewhere else or that you had something else. You really have to be content with what's in your space and make it work. Okay, so I'm layering these in. These are kind of what I would call a framing flower. And I love to use those to set off some of the larger focal flowers in the arrangement. So I've layered those in there with that in mind. Just kind of some areas that I'd like to have those focal flowers. Next I'm going to take, these are, believe it or not, these are Quicksand Roses. They look like Saharas. I think they were maybe just, I don't know, cut a little bit earlier or just from a different grower. I'm not sure, but they are definitely not the blushy pink that were anticipated, but they look really lovely with the Amaryllis, so no worries there. I have a few there. I'm going to balance it out with a few over here. We've got a lot of contrast between this cream and the red, but we are going to bridge the gap using the Amaryllis here that we have. Because you can see how these are, this is what I would call a transition flower, and you can see how this has both the red and the cream, and it blends those two pieces together so beautifully. Transition flowers are very important. Wake up, little guy. Okay. So the moment you've been waiting for, the Amaryllis. I've got some cotton balls that I've soaked with water, and I'm going to take the cotton ball and put it in the stem of the Amaryllis. This makes a funny noise, wait for it. Oh, kind of gross. And then I'm going to clip the Amaryllis stem to the place where it would hit the base of the floral foam. So it's hydrated by the cotton, but it has the stem that can just easily pop right into that foam and be a very stable and secure hold, which is what we're after. Amaryllis, I would recommend purchasing, the stems always come in better if you purchase them by the box, and boxes have about 15 to 18 stems in them normally. But it's tough whenever the wholesaler, you know, if you just need a few and those are shipped to you, they just, sometimes the stems get cracked and you have a hard time with those. Now these are huge. So what I'm going to do is clip out a few flowers here. Actually think that I like how this little group here looks. Just these two little ones. I think we need to get it even shorter. And then some of these small ones that we tugged off, we can set low in the arrangement. Pop those right into the foam. Let's leave these guys out for now. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with some of these white Majolica spray roses. Just kind of catch everything up to speed. Let's just build this out one more layer. And don't be shy to clip off some of the pieces of the spray roses if it's too full or getting in your way. If that's not the look that you're going for, you can just clip those out, kind of like we did with the Amaryllis, so that it was the puzzle piece. It was what we needed to fit into that particular spot. I have a few peachy spray roses. I'm just gonna add those in. Look how those connect with the Amaryllis. See, like this right here, like this is too much for me personally. So I'm just gonna tug those out for now. I just wanna open that up and leave some more room for some of these other beautiful flowers to go. I have these romantic antique garden roses. These are gonna start low in the arrangement, and then I'm gonna bring that pink color out. Not real pleased with this bunch that I got. They aren't opening as nice as they have sometimes. With roses, sometimes they open really beautifully and then sometimes they don't. And a lot of people think that it's something that they did or that it's their fault that it's not, you know, opening or whatever. But actually, a lot of times it's when the flower was cut, it was cut just a little bit too early, or just stressed in shipping. I mean, there's so many things that happen in the lives of these flowers before they ever get near you. And so you could, you know, you could do the same thing over and over again in terms of how you treat them whenever they arrive to you. But if you're getting different results, you know, there's something else at play. So just keep that in mind and don't get too ruffled up that you're doing something wrong. They just like clean water and fresh cuts, a little bit of food. Okay. And then let's leave these guys out for now. Let's just see. These are Prince Jardinier, really, really pretty garden roses, and they smell amazing. Those last ones were O'Hara's. They're pretty Barbie pink. I don't love them for what I'm doing right now, but they're okay. They'll work okay. But I like how these look with the Romantic Antiques. I got them as a transition flower to kind of go between the two, and they do. I mean, there are these really outside petals that have, if we can get a close-up of this, the really dark Romantic Antique pink, and they have that little touch of burgundy on the ends of them, and then they sort of have some of these lighter pink petals and then a medium pink. But the tone is just slightly off for me. But sometimes you have to work with slightly off, and it's okay. Nobody but you probably notices. These just open so beautifully. I just love, love, love. And you have to give them time to open. You really do. They need about 4 days to get looking really pretty. Sometimes even a week. Okay, so we just have that, you know, focal point anchored, pretty centered there. And I think we need one more in here, but I'm not sure if I want to put it. Just want to see how that affects the other side. Okay, I like that. It carries this line throughout the center of the arrangement, which I like. You know what, I don't like what's happening now can be solved with a little bit of greenery, and it's just that there's not softness between, you know, these layers. So I want to add some of that in with this willow. Actually, let's use some berries for that. I'm going to do a little bit of willow here on the sides to soften this area. And this is Willow Eucalyptus, not like a willow tree. Okay, and then let's see. I think the answer might be some of these berries. So you can snip that off and then have a different size. Nice thing too about this Oasis water mix that I like is that if you do have something that doesn't do well in Oasis and really needs to be in the water, you have both options right there at your fingertips, which is great. I forgot to put my pomegranates in. We can go back in and do that easy enough. Another ingredient I love to soften up the flowers once they're in is ivy. You can use jasmine or other kinds of vines as well. I just like to wrap this kind of around the different flowers. Okay. And pomegranates. I really like the silhouette of how the front of this is looking with this low. I like how that looks quite a lot. So I think I'm going to put these actually on the side over here with these burgundy roses. And I just like when I'm doing fruits, I like pairs of them. And one that's a little bit smaller than the other. I think that helps. A few little ranunculus here that could be sweet up this area. And then some scabiosa, which are fun for a little bit of movement up higher. We need to put something low in here. I don't like how that just is open, so I'm going to tuck one of these down in there pretty deep. Same with this guy here. He's going to, if we can get a close-up of this, I had just like an exposed branch cutting here, so I'm just going to kind of tidy that up. Okay, I think we are done. Let me clear this off so you can get a good look at the finished piece, and I wish you all the best as you're working on your flower arrangements and putting some beautiful things together for your clients. So it was great to have you with us today, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson.